When I was hospitalized, my family didn't visit. They went on vacation with my brother and posted it all online. They told me, "We're not wasting money on you. If you want us to visit, pay for our tickets." I said, "Enjoy your trip. I'll remember this when you're the ones begging for help." Then my brother replied, "Maybe sometime alone will finally teach you not to be such a fucking embarrassment." I just smiled. 6 days later, they got a surprise they never saw coming. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, supports the channel, and ensures you never miss out on amazing videos. Alright, let's get started. So I've never posted anything super long on here, but I feel like I need to get this out of my system. Sorry if this is all over the place. I'm typing from my phone and I'm still in the hospital. Angel, I'm not even sure how to start, except that the last week has just been one of those am I the problem or are they actually insane kind of weeks. So yeah, I'm a 29-year-old guy, not married, no kids, living in a city that's like 4 hours from my parents and younger brother. My family isn't rich, but we're not struggling either. Just your average, always fighting over money type. My brother, he's 25, is the favorite since forever. Like, he's the one with the shiny graduation pics on the wall. My mom calls him every day. My dad brags about him to his poker buddies. All that. I don't really care about being the golden child. I got used to it ages ago, but it's always been clear I'm just there to fill space or do the annoying chores no one else wants to deal with. Anyway, last Saturday night, I'm just chilling with some YouTube on, decide to heat up leftovers, then suddenly get this insane pain in my side. Not gonna get into the gory details, but after like an hour of trying to walk it off, I end up calling an Uber to urgent care. Turns out appendix is about to burst. They do scans and I'm in surgery before sunrise. I wake up groggy, can't remember where my phone is. Nurse is asking if anyone's coming. I say, yeah, sure. My family will probably be here in a bit. Just give them time. I text the family group chat, let them know what's up, thinking they'll freak out and start calling. Instead, I get a text from my dad like 6 hours later saying, "Sorry to hear, hope you're okay, keep us posted." Then my mom, "Oh no, keep us updated." My brother just sends a thumbs up. That's it. No calls, no "do you need anything?" Nothing. Nurse comes back, asks if I want to put anyone as an emergency contact. I say, just leave it, I'm fine. So by day 2 in the hospital, I'm bored out of my mind. Can barely move, and suddenly my phone starts blowing up with notifications. At first I figure it's just group chat memes or something, but nope, it's photos. Pics from Rome, Venice, my brother posing with gelato, my parents in front of some famous fountain. They're tagging me in stories with stuff like, "Wish you were here, lol," and "family time." I'm sitting there in a hospital gown with wires taped all over me, watching them do a Euro vacation like it's nothing. I'm not even mad at first, just confused. I scroll back and realize there were no hints about this trip before. My parents used to mention wanting to travel, but always said it was too pricey. Now out of nowhere, they're in Italy. I send a message like, "Hey, did you guys plan this before?" Dad says, "Yeah, it was a last-minute deal. My brother found cheap flights. They booked it on a whim." I go, "So no one's coming to visit?" Mom just sends a shrug emoji. Brother says, "Come on, man, it's just a surgery. Stop being dramatic." That's pretty much it. The next morning, my nurse comes in again, says, "Your family still hasn't called. Do you want to list anyone else as a contact?" I say, "No, I don't want to bother them. They're on vacation." She gives me a weird look, but doesn't push it. By now, I'm getting the vibe they're just not coming back. I ask again, kind of joking, "So are you guys really not visiting?" My mom says, "Flights aren't cheap, and we already paid for hotels and stuff. If you want us to come, send money for the tickets. Otherwise, we're not wasting it." I just stare at the phone. My brother chimes in, says, "Maybe sometime alone will finally teach you not to be such a fucking embarrassment," which for him is pretty normal. He's always been the type to throw in digs when he thinks I'm being soft. I used to bite back a lot more, but lately I just ignore him. TBH, he's been like that since we were kids. If I ever needed help, he'd make fun of me for not toughing it out. Parents never called him out on it either. Just said, "Boys will be boys. He's your brother. Let it go." I just reply, "Enjoy your trip. I'll remember this when you're the ones begging for help." He responds with another insult. And then the chat goes quiet. At this point, I'm kind of pissed, but I'm also just tired. I start thinking about how much I've actually done for them. I'm the guy who sets up their online banking. I'm the one who gets called to fix their phone when they lock themselves out. I'm the one who helped them get the apartment by co-signing. And I'm always the backup plan when bills get missed. It's not like they're helpless. They just don't want to deal with anything that isn't fun. My brother literally crashed his car last year, and my dad called me first to sort it out. Never even got a thank you. So now I'm lying here, barely able to sit up, eating bland hospital soup. And every couple hours, I get another batch of their vacation pics. My brother DM'd me a video of him eating some fancy seafood with a caption about how this is what it's like to have a real job. I didn't reply. My mom sends a selfie with the caption, "Family means everything," and tags me and my brother like I'm there with them. It's honestly kind of surreal. I tried calling just to ask if they could at least check on my place. I have a plant that's probably dead by now. And my dad just says, "We're not cutting our trip short for a few leaves." I hang up, and for a sec, I almost throw my phone, but I just put it away instead. I know some people here are going to say I should just cut them off and move on, or that I should try to talk it out, But honestly, I'm over it. I get that families can be weird, but this is just next level. I haven't really told any friends yet because I know they'll probably just say, of course they did, and move on. No one's surprised when I say my brother is a jerk or that my parents play favorites. That's just been the background noise forever. Doesn't mean it doesn't sting, though. So I spent all night just scrolling through their vacation spam, reading the comments from their friends about what a beautiful family they are, how lucky they must be, how nice it is, they're all together. Nobody even knows I'm not there. I guess that's the point. Anyway, I finally texted them this morning and just said, don't worry about visiting. Enjoy your trip. I'll figure things out myself. My brother replied with a middle finger emoji and said he hoped I used the time alone to grow a pair. My mom left me on red. My dad sent a thumbs up. I just smiled because, honestly, I know exactly what I'm going to do when I get out of here. And this time, I'm not just going to let it slide. Guess I'll update if anyone cares. Or maybe I'll just keep it to myself. Either way, this is the last time I let them treat me like a damn afterthought. Update 1. Alright, so I didn't think I'd be back here this quick, but y'all's comments on my last post got to me, and honestly kinda hyped me up more than I thought. Also, I'm still laying here with tubes in my arm, hospital food that tastes like wet cardboard, and my phone is literally my only company, LMAO. So, yeah. Here's what happened next. Because some of you said you wanted updates and FR, you won't believe how sideways it went already. So, let's start with the weird part. After that last text from my brother, the grow a pair one, things just went quiet. Like eerily quiet. No new photos, no more group chat spam, just total silence for days. Except for my mom sending me some get well soon sticker that felt like an accidental tap. I kept thinking, maybe they're just busy living it up over there. But something about it felt off. Maybe it was just me being bitter. It was day 4 after surgery. I couldn't sleep, so I'm doom scrolling and checking in on all the crap I usually handle from my parents. Like all the boring finance stuff, rent payments, utilities, the streaming subs that always get randomly canceled if I forget to check the card. I guess I got in the habit of doing it because my dad is useless with online anything, and my mom just ignores bills until there's a red notice on the door. My brother doesn't do money stuff. He's the fun one. He handles the travel bookings and talks a lot of trash about how organized I am, which is code for unfun. Anyway, I'm flipping through the payment history, and I see my brother's put some extra charges from a hotel in Rome on the joint card. Not a ton, but enough that I noticed. Then some random charges for tours, food, even an expensive-ass dinner. I think, okay, whatever. Maybe they just used my card because their travel one got blocked. But then I see my mom's tried to sign up for some shopping thing, put the deposit through my account. I text her like, hey, why are you guys running up my card? She leaves me on read again. Typical. So I'm sitting in this uncomfortable hospital bed, and NGL, I just snap a little, like they're not even checking if I'm alive. But they're cool just using my money while I'm stuck here. Nah, not happening. I remember my dad yelling at me last year when I asked him to pay me back for an emergency bill I covered. He said, your family. It shouldn't matter. Yeah, well, apparently it only goes one way. So I start with the easy stuff. I open my apps, freeze the joint cards, the ones I'm co-signed on. I remove my name and payment info from every bill, every streaming thing, all the random subscriptions. Enjoyably satisfying. Then I pull all my money from the joint savings, dropped it into a new private account I had already set up for myself months ago, mostly because I got tired of my brother borrowing from and never paying me back. I know people are going to be like, what about legal stuff? But I checked all the terms ages ago after my parents did some real dumb stuff with overdrafts. I'm allowed to freeze or pull out as joint owner. Same as them. I just never bothered because I was always the one patching things together when stuff broke. Not this time. I even called our landlord. Weirdly, he actually picked up on the first ring. Maybe because he's like 80 and always bored. I told him I was withdrawing as a guarantor for their apartment. He sounded confused, asked if I was sure, said that might mean trouble for them. I said, yeah, I'm sure. He just grunted and hung up. I guess he's seen worse. I didn't tell anyone in the family what I was doing. I wanted them to feel it. I wanted them to wake up and realize, oh, maybe the embarrassment actually kept the lights on. So I go back to my hospital routine. Eat, nap, doom scroll, get poked by nurses, ignore my plant, probably dying at home. About 12 hours in, I start getting emails. Failed payment for the Wi-Fi at my parents' place. Failed rent payment. Netflix can't renew. My brother's fancy hotel in Rome declining the card. I get a notification the bank called my dad, but obviously I can't hear what happens. Just see the missed call in our family group. My dad literally never takes it off speaker. I've heard my mom yell at him for it so many times. LMAO. Next thing I know, my mom's blowing up my phone with short texts. What did you do? Why are the cards blocked? Fix this now. No apology, just demands. I leave them on read for a bit just to see if they'll calm down. They don't. My brother finally messages me directly. Not in the group, says he can't pay for their dinner and he's not about to be humiliated in another country. He says some worse stuff, but whatever. This is the part where I expected them to maybe IDK, apologize, at least pretend to care. But no, my dad just starts calling and hanging up over and over like that's going to make me jump. I let it go to voicemail and he just says, the bank is being stupid again. Fix it or else. He actually says, or else. I almost laugh. I get a message from my cousin out of nowhere asking if I'm all right because your mom said you're being difficult again. I just send a thumbs up. She doesn't push. She knows how it is. Nobody in my extended family really gets involved. They're all just glad it's not them in the crossfire. So yeah, now I'm getting a taste of what it's like to not be the family scapegoat, tech support / backup wallet. I feel bad for like 2 seconds, then remember all the times my brother called me a loser in front of his friends, or my dad told me to man up whenever I got sick, or my mom acted like I was invisible if I didn't do what she wanted. I used to think if I just helped more, they'd finally treat me normal. But nope, I see now it's always going to be this. There's a point where my mom actually tries calling the hospital to talk to me, but she gets annoyed when the nurse says she can't just ring up my room whenever she wants. She hangs up on the nurse. That one made me laugh, TBH. By the end of day 6, I know they're starting to panic. My brother posts a story on his socials about fake people and family snakes. Doesn't tag me, but I know it's aimed at me. Some mutual friends DM me asking what's going on. I just say, family drama, nothing new. One dude says I'm being harsh. I tell him to ask my mom and see what story she gives. He just leaves me on read. People always act like they care, but nobody wants to pick sides. They're still in Europe, BTW. I checked their location out of curiosity. Rome, then Venice, then somewhere near the coast. I guess they figured out how to pay for a few more nights, but it's running out quick. I get a pic from my brother, him and my dad arguing in a lobby. Looks like my mom is crying in the background. No context. Just sends it to me with a middle finger emoji. I don't reply. My nurse asks if I want to talk to someone, like a counselor or something, but I just say I'm good. She nods, leaves the room, doesn't push. I can tell she's seen people like me before, the ones who get left behind. So yeah, I pulled the plug while I was still in the damn hospital bed. Didn't even wait to get out. Not because I wanted some big moment or anything, just because someone has to fight back eventually, and it's never going to be them. Guess we'll see what happens next. I doubt they'll last long without someone cleaning up after their mess. I'm not going back to that role. Not now. Not ever. Might update again if things get even messier. Knowing my family, that's basically a guarantee. Update 2. So yeah, it's me again. NGL, I didn't really plan on dropping another update, but this week turned out way more ridiculous than even I expected. I'm still in the hospital. They finally let me eat something besides soup, so I guess that's progress. But I'm basically just watching the family meltdown play out through my phone, like it's some reality show I never asked for. Not sure if that counts as karma or just plain chaos. Anyway, here's what's wild. I thought after I locked everything down, my parents and brother would at least try to play it cool. Pretend they had it under control. Maybe guilt trip me. Maybe ignore me until they got home. But nah, they went from ignoring to panic mode way faster than I expected. It started with little stuff, like my mom texting again, asking why her online shopping cart wouldn't go through. Then my brother blowing up the group chat with passive-aggressive jokes about how some people don't know how to manage money. Dad just kept calling and hanging up like that was going to change anything. But then things got weird. My brother messaged me directly, which he never does unless he wants something, and said they'd been locked out of their hotel room in Venice because the card on file got declined and the front desk wouldn't budge. He tried to act chill about it, but you could tell he was pissed. He said Dad tried to argue with the staff and ended up getting into it with some guy at the counter. Mom tried to smooth it over, but she doesn't really speak Italian and just started crying. They had to leave their bags at the front desk until they paid. I guess I always kind of knew they leaned on me for this stuff, but seeing it play out from a distance is honestly IDK. Surreal. Like, I'm literally getting updates from my own family about how bad things are going, as if I'm the customer service hotline. I didn't answer. I just watched the messages pile up. Then came the real fallout. I got a call from the landlord back home. Yeah, the same old guy from before who sounded more annoyed than worried. He said since I'd withdrawn as guarantor and the new payment didn't come through, he had to start the formal process. I just said, I get it. Do what you have to do. He grumbled something about families these days and hung up. I know he'll give them a little extra time. He always does. But there's no way my parents can keep up with rent and all their other bills without my help. It's not that they're broke. They just never plan ahead or save for emergencies, always assuming someone will bail them out. Me, basically. At this point, they're still stuck in Venice, trying to figure out how to get home. My brother tries to get me to send him money via Venmo, then Cash App, then PayPal. I ignore every request. Mom sends a bunch of voice notes all over the place. One minute she's begging, next she's threatening to never speak to me again. Then, back to guilt trips. I forward them to a folder and don't reply. I know that sounds cold, but I've spent my whole life running to fix their problems, and they made it really clear where I stand. Funny thing is, some mutual friends, and even a couple people from my extended family started reaching out. Like apparently, my mom has been calling everyone saying I'm sabotaging them, and she doesn't know why I'm so angry. My aunt texts me asking if I'm okay, and when I try to explain, she just says, families fight, you'll get over it. Nobody really wants to get involved. They just want the drama to stop. Meanwhile, I'm still in the hospital just trying to focus on getting discharged and figuring out how to keep my own place from falling apart. BTW, my plant is dead. FML. My nurse asks if everything's okay because she can hear my phone buzzing nonstop. I just say it's family stuff. She shrugs and says, families can suck, and walks out. Honestly, respect. So I start getting more desperate messages from my brother. At one point, he says they tried to sell some of their stuff. Like literally tried to pawn one of his watches and my mom's old purse just to get enough cash for a train to Milan so they could maybe catch a cheaper flight home. He's furious at me. Says I'm ruining everything. Says I've always been jealous and this is why nobody trusts me. Then he goes off on a rant about how I'm a loser who never grew up and how he's always had to clean up my messes. I almost laugh at that one. For real. This dude hasn't cleaned up anything in his life except spilled beer at a party. My dad finally gets on a call with me. He must have borrowed someone's phone or something because it was a weird number, and straight up tries to order me to fix everything like I'm still 15. He says I'm embarrassing the family, that everyone's talking about us, and that if I don't step up, I'm out for good. I tell him he made his choice when he left me in a hospital bed to go on vacation. He slams the phone down. I can hear my mom start yelling in the background, but I just hang up. I know some people reading this are going to say I'm going too far or whatever, but honestly, I don't even feel bad. My whole life, I've been the backup plan. The one who gets the leftovers, the one who gets called names when things go wrong, and then ignored when things are fine. My brother's always been the favorite because he's loud and charming and good at pretending to care about people when it benefits him. My parents let him get away with whatever, because he was the baby and because he's just like my dad, pushy, selfish, never wrong. I gave them more chances than anyone. I fixed their bills, cleaned up their messes, kept the peace. All I got was more work and more blame. So now, they're getting a taste of what it's like when nobody picks up the pieces. Anyway, last night my brother sent me a long, rambling message about how they're literally stranded and can't even afford a ticket back. He says dad is drinking, mom is crying, and he's never been this stressed. He tries to say he's sorry, but then goes right back to blaming me like it's some game to see if I'll break. I just leave him on read. I know he's not sorry. None of them are. I'm sitting here still in my hospital bed waiting for the next round of drama. Part of me wonders if they'll actually figure something out or if they'll just keep spiraling. I guess I'll see. Either way, I'm not bailing them out. Not this time. They wanted to live without me. Cool. Let's see how long they last. Maybe this sounds harsh, but after everything, I think I earned the right to let them feel it for once. If anything else happens, I'll update. But for now, I'm just waiting to see how far they fall. I'm not even mad anymore. Just kind of curious. Honestly. Final update. So yeah, I'm back for what's probably the last update. NGL, I thought things were wild before, but this last bit just went fully off the rails. I'm still in the hospital, still not 100%, but I'm finally getting some actual rest since my phone's on Do Not Disturb now. I guess I just want to put this down somewhere because honestly, I still can't believe how deep these people can dig. The first weird thing was how dead quiet it got for a whole day. Like after my brother's last rant about how I was ruining his life and mom's guilt trip folder filling up, it was just nothing. I kept checking my phone out of habit, waiting for the next guilt bomb or demand for money, but all I got were a couple spam calls and a reminder from the nurse to drink more water. Even my aunt stopped texting. Maybe she finally clued in that I wasn't going to play Messenger. Then at like 2 a.m. my phone starts going off nonstop. It legit sounded like someone was calling 911 from every app I have. Missed calls, voicemails, texts, Insta DMs, even a Facebook message. Who even uses FB anymore? Lol. I swipe to silent at first, but then I see the preview. It's my brother, all caps, like he's trying to break the phone through the screen. He's saying, please answer. Mom's screaming, dad's drinking, he's gone. We can't even afford a ticket home. Please, I'm begging you. I open the chat and it's just chaos. The first message is kind of frantic. Then mom's voice in the background crying and yelling. Dad slamming a door and swearing. Brother saying dad just walked out of the hotel and nobody knows where he went. They tried to get a cab, but their cards all got denied and the front desk wouldn't let them charge anything to the room. Brother says he tried to explain to the staff, but they just shrugged and said, rules are rules. Mom tried to slap my brother. Then she slammed her suitcase into the wall. They're out of cash. No working cards. No one else to call. I guess the kicker is that they're finally experiencing what it's like to have nobody in their corner. Dad's always been the bulldozer. Never apologizes, just shoves his way through and expects everyone else to pick up the pieces. Mom's the type to beg and then blame, flipping between tears and threats like it's the same button. Brother's the star player, always blaming me for being the embarrassment just because I didn't act like them. But now, with nobody left to play scapegoat, they're all turning on each other. I didn't answer any of it. I just let the messages pile up. Part of me wanted to say something, maybe just to twist the knife a little, but honestly, I'm so over it. This is what they've always done. Run wild, trash everything, then scream for help when the bill comes due. I used to think if I just fixed things one more time, maybe they'd treat me like I mattered. Turns out they only cared about the help, not the person. I did get one call from my dad around 3 a.m., and for some reason I picked up. He didn't even say hello, just jumped in with, you did this. You're killing your own family. I told him he made his choice when he left me in a hospital bed for a vacation. He started yelling, then switched to begging, then back to yelling. I said, maybe try asking your golden child to fix it for once. He just hung up. I heard the phone hit something, maybe the table or the wall. By the next morning, my brother's still trying to get me to send him money for a ticket home. He tries one last time with this long message about how family is family. You're still my brother. But then he ruins it by saying he'll never forgive me if I don't help. I don't even reply. I just block his number. Mom tried to call me from the hotel phone. The nurse picked up and handed it to me, but as soon as I heard her voice, I handed it right back. The nurse just said, "He's not available," and hung up. I think she felt bad for me, but honestly, I was grateful she didn't push. The funniest part, if you can even call it funny, is how fast everyone in the family started blaming each other. My cousin texted me saying, Mom told her I abandoned them overseas. I just said, ask her why. She left it at that. My timeline is a mess now. Mutual friends posting vague stuff about fake people and family comes first. But nobody tags me. I don't care. I know what I did. And for once, I don't feel like I have to explain it. I guess the only thing that really stuck with me is that all this time I thought I was weak for always bailing them out. That I was the problem, because I never said no. Turns out standing up for myself just made them show their true colors faster. They're not dumb. They just never thought I'd actually walk away. But I did. I'm still in the hospital, still kind of tired, but I finally got some peace. My plant's dead, my fridge is empty, but at least I know I'm not anyone's backup plan anymore. So yeah, that's it. If you're reading this because you're stuck being the family ATM or the fixer or whatever, just know you can actually say no. Nobody's going to save you but you.